When AAA blockbusters dominate the gaming landscape, it's easy to overlook the gems hidden just beneath the surface. These are the titles crafted with smaller budgets, but often packed with more creativity, heart, and innovation than their big budget counterparts. So, I've scoured the gaming aorta to bring you 15 AA games that blow away new AAA releases. I've left links to any full reviews just below the like button, but for now, let's dive in. First up is RoboCop Rogue City, a surprisingly faithful adaptation of a truly kick-ass franchise that blends first-person shooting with crime-solving and a gritty story, set in the iconic dystopian world of Old Detroit. Developed by Teon in 2023, Rogue City captures the essence of RoboCop, filled with nostalgic callbacks, no-holds-barred brutality, and biting satirical commentary. Set after the events of RoboCop 2, the story follows Alex Murphy, RoboCop, as he faces a city spiraling further into chaos. Megacorporations, gangs, and corrupt officials have turned Detroit into a war zone, and it's up to you to restore order. The game plays a mix of first-person shooting and investigation mechanics. You blast through waves of enemies with your Auto 9 pistol. Bodies go flying, blood sprays, and nothing but carnage is left in your wake. The power fantasy is cranked up to 11, like any good RoboCop game should be, and it feels awesome. Between firefights, you investigate crime scenes, question suspects, and make decisions that can influence the story. Even though the investigation mechanics are simple, they help to fill in more of this world. And this is where the game shines. It's a total love letter to the movies, recreating the grimy cyberpunk aesthetic of Old Detroit. While the character models show the lower budget, it's still awesome to see faces like Ann Lewis brought to life. The member berries are strong with this one, and that attention to detail is carried through to the sound design. From the weighty thud of RoboCop's footsteps to the metallic ping of his Auto 9, every sound reinforces the sense that you are RoboCop. Then add the rad soundtrack, with the bombastic, synth-heavy styles of the films, and you have a damn good time. Whether you're a fan of the first two films, which are the only two films that I'm aware of, or just want a fun-as-hell power fantasy, you've got to deliver some cold, hard justice in RoboCop Rogue City.
This was just an isolated glitch.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
I tend to play mostly single-player games. You know, the whole lack of friends thing. But there's something special that happens when you play with someone else. The problem is most multiplayer games don't do anything new or innovative. However, developer Hazelight Studios is looking to change that one game at a time. It Takes Two is their brilliant co-op adventure that redefines what it means to work together in a video game. Released in 2021, It Takes Two combines heartfelt storytelling with wildly creative gameplay, delivering an unforgettable experience that's as fun as it is emotionally impactful. You play as Cody and May, a married couple on the brink of divorce. Just a delightful setup. Now, these two are magically transformed into tiny doll versions of themselves by their daughter's tears. Guided by the Book of Love, they're forced to navigate a series of surreal, imaginative environments while working through their issues. It's a surprisingly solid story that strikes a perfect balance between humor and heart, exploring deep themes of communication, teamwork, and reconciliation without ever feeling heavy-handed. But where It Takes Two stands out is its gameplay, requiring two players. There's no solo mode here, which is important because it means everything is designed around the concept of playing with someone else, rather than adding multiplayer to an otherwise solo experience. Each level introduces new mechanics, continually keeping the gameplay fresh. One moment you might be shooting sap by igniting it, while the next you're swinging on vines or solving puzzles with magnets. Not only are the mechanics fun and engaging, but they also encourage cooperation and communication. It's a masterclass in co-op design. It looks great, It plays great, and the story is thoroughly entertaining. It Takes Two is more than a game. It's a shared journey that showcases the power of teamwork and connection, creating an experience you won't forget. Next up is Metro Exodus, a bold evolution for the Metro series, taking its trademark survival horror roots and blending them with an expansive open-world design. Developed by AAA Games and released in 2019, Metro Exodus continues the journey of Artyom in a post-apocalyptic Russia, with a mix of atmospheric storytelling, immersive world-building, and tense gameplay. The story picks up after the events of Metro Last Light, with Artyom and his companions aboard the Aurora, a barely held together train that serves as a symbol of hope. They leave the tunnels of the Metro behind in search of a better life on the surface. This is a more personal and emotional journey than the first games, exploring themes of survival, faith, and human resilience. But the biggest shift is its semi-open world design. Instead of being confined to the claustrophobic tunnels of the Metro, you explore a variety of large open environments, each filled with exploration and danger. From a frozen wasteland to a sweltering desert and lush forests, the variety of locations makes it feel like a spanning adventure. Gameplay retains the series' emphasis on survival and resource management. Ammunition, medkits, and crafting materials are scarce, forcing you to scavenge and plan ahead. The introduction of a modular weapon system adds depth, allowing you to customize your gear to suit your playstyle. Stealth remains a key component, as engaging enemies head-on is often risky. And just like the prior games, there's nothing quite like the atmosphere. Haunting, beautiful, and gut-wrenching. Metro Exodus is a bold step forward for the series. It retains the tense, survival-driven gameplay while expanding its scope to offer something new and ambitious. Moving on to a game from one of my favorite developers, Remedy Entertainment. Even with their smaller budgets, their unique approach to storytelling and gameplay lets them compete with the bigger studios. And Control is a great example, pushing the boundaries of storytelling and gameplay in this mind-melting action-adventure game. You play as Jessie Faden, who's searching for answers about her past when she stumbles into the Federal Bureau of Control, a secretive agency investigating paranormal phenomena. What begins as a simple visit quickly spirals into chaos as Jessie becomes the Bureau's new director and battles otherworldly forces known as the Hiss. The gameplay combines third-person shooting with supernatural abilities. Jessie wields the Service Weapon, a shape-shifting firearm that allows for all sorts of upgrades and customization, alongside her telekinetic powers that let you hurl objects, levitate, and create shields from debris. The combat is awesome, fast-paced, chaotic, and deeply satisfying, especially as you learn to chain abilities and gunplay together. The game's true star, however, is the setting, the oldest house. This labyrinthine, ever-shifting headquarters is a masterclass in environmental design, blending brutalist architecture with surreal elements, making each area more unsettling than the last. The Metroidvania-style exploration encourages you to revisit areas as you unlock new powers, rewarding your curiosity with hidden lore and secrets. And I just love the look of this game, especially in the updated version for PS5 called the Ultimate Edition. Its use of lighting, reflections, and physics creates an eerie, dreamlike atmosphere. Combined with the haunting soundtrack and incredible sound design, the game nails its surreal tone. I can't recommend Control enough. It's a bold and unforgettable experience that rewards anyone willing to float into its strange, mysterious world.
I have concluded a very fragile truce with Sigismund. And if
Next up is Kingdom Come: Deliverance 2. Unlike so many bigger budget RPGs lately, Warhorse Studios didn't try to streamline, simplify, or marvelify the sequel in a desperate attempt to appeal to the widest audience. Cause that just works so well, doesn't it? Instead, they smartly built upon the foundation of its predecessor, delivering a sprawling medieval RPG that leans even further into historical realism and player-driven storytelling. This is everything you want in a sequel, with refined mechanics, a deeper narrative, and a richer, more authentic medieval world that immerses you in its beauty and brutality. Picking up where the first game left off, Deliverance 2 continues the story of Henry, the blacksmith's son thrust into the turmoil of 15th century Bohemia. The narrative remains grounded in political intrigue, personal vendettas, and the constant clash of power and survival. If you play the original, you'll immediately feel the improvements to the gameplay. Combat, while still rooted in its deliberate and realistic mechanics, feels smoother and more responsive. However, the learning curve is still just as steep, and newcomers might find the combat system frustrating before mastering its nuances. The game has some of the most breathtaking landscapes I've ever seen, and the bustling towns, interesting NPCs you meet, and the obsessive levels of historical detail bring everything to life. Quests are more varied this time, moving beyond basic fetch and delivery tasks to include espionage, large-scale battles, and complex moral dilemmas. Kingdom Come: Deliverance 2 is a deeply immersive and ambitious RPG, with a strong commitment to historical authenticity, meaningful player choice, and complex storytelling that sets it apart from most games in the genre. Moving on to a series that's bursting with
rats. Why did it have to be rats?
A Plague Tale Requiem is an emotional, visually stunning sequel that builds on the foundation of its predecessor, A Plague Tale Innocence, with bigger stakes, expanded gameplay, and a hell of a lot more rats. Developed by Asobo Studio, this 2022 release dives deeper into the bond between siblings Amicia and Hugo, while exploring the devastating impact of the plague-ridden world they inhabit. Set after the events of the first game, the story follows Amicia and Hugo as they seek a cure for Hugo's mysterious curse, which connects him to the terrifying plague of rats devastating medieval France. The writing and performances, particularly from Charlotte McBurney as Amicia, are really impressive, making every moment feel raw and impactful. Gameplay builds upon the stealth and puzzle solving of the original with expanded mechanics. Amicia now has more tools at her disposal, like a crossbow, alchemical recipes, and environmental traps to dispatch enemies. Hugo's rat controlling abilities are significantly expanded, allowing you to unleash swarms of rats to overwhelm enemies or navigate areas by sensing threats. And my god, this game is downright breathtaking. From sunlit fields to crumbling cities and dark, rat-infested caverns, every environment is packed with detail and atmosphere. The lighting and visual effects, particularly during the horrifying rat swarm sequences, are stunning, showcasing Asobo's mastery of environmental storytelling. Ultimately, A Plague Tale Requiem is a gripping and deeply emotional sequel that surpasses its predecessor in just about every way. Its blend of tense gameplay, stunning visuals, and a heartfelt narrative make it a standout experience. For anyone looking for a story-driven adventure with genuine emotional weight, Requiem is a must-play. Next on the list is Lost in Random. Developed by Zoink Games in 2021, Lost in Random is a dark yet whimsical action-adventure game that blends Burton-esque visuals, clever storytelling, and a unique gameplay hook using dice and deck building. The story follows Even, a young girl searching for her sister, Odd, who's been taken by the Wicked Queen of Random. Set in the Kingdom of Random, a world ruled by a six-sided die and divided into 6 distinct regions, the narrative weaves a tale of oppression, chance, and sibling love. The world building is nearly unmatched, with each district reflecting its own twisted personality, from the chaotic Two-Town to the desolate Forburg. You can't help but explore the nooks and crannies of this world, filled with oddball characters and secrets around every corner. The core gameplay revolves around a mix of real-time combat and strategy. Armed with a slingshot and a magical sentient die named Dicey, Even must gather energy during fights to roll Dicey and draw cards from a customizable deck. These cards allow you to summon weapons, deploy traps, or unleash abilities, turning combat into a blend of tactical planning and frantic action. The dice mechanics feel fresh and innovative, adding a layer of unpredictability to battles. And I just can't get enough of how this game looks. Its gothic, handcrafted art style feels like it was pulled straight out of The Nightmare Before Christmas, with a dark whimsy that makes every corner of Random worth exploring. Lost in Random is a unique and memorable adventure that thrives on its creativity and charm. It's a game that dares to take risks with its gameplay and storytelling, offering an experience that feels fresh and different from the norm. For fans of dark fairy tales, strategic combat, and worlds brimming with personality, Lost in Random is well worth rolling the dice on. This next game may come as a bit of a surprise on this list, since it was developed by Bandai Namco and TOES. But if the small budget is to be believed, the game lands squarely in AA territory, though you'd barely be able to tell considering the sheer quality on display. Scarlet Nexus is a stylish and ambitious action RPG that blends fast-paced combat, anime-inspired storytelling, and a rich sci-punk setting. Released in 2021, this game is such a treat for fans of action-packed, character-driven games. Set in a futuristic world where people developed psionic powers, you play as either Yuito or Kasane, members of the Other Suppression Force, or OSF, tasked with protecting humanity from grotesque creatures called Others. The dual protagonist system is a highlight, as playing through both characters' perspectives provides different insights into the overarching plot, as well as gameplay differerences throughout. Oh man, the heart of Scarlet Nexus lies in its badass combat. Both Yuito and Kasane wield psychokinesis, allowing them to hurl objects at enemies while chaining physical attacks. Combat is fast, flashy, and a hell of a lot of fun, with a surprising amount of depth. It's easily one of my favorite systems in years. You can link abilities with your party members to unleash devastating combo attacks, exploit enemy weaknesses, and adapt to different situations. You're encouraged to experiment, and as you unlock more abilities through the skill trees, battles get even better. Outside of combat, Scarlet Nexus places a strong emphasis on character relationships. Through bond episodes, you can deepen your connection with your teammates, unlocking new abilities and gaining greater insights into each of their personalities. Visually, Scarlet Nexus is just about perfect. With a striking art style that blends anime aesthetics, futuristic environments, and surreal, dreamlike landscapes. If you haven't played Scarlet Nexus, what are you doing with your life? Its thrilling combat, memorable characters, and bold art direction make it a standout title for fans of action RPGs and anime-inspired games. It's a game that isn't afraid to take risks, and they pay off in spectacular fashion. Moving on to a remake that languished in development hell for years, that was surprisingly great when it finally released. The System Shock remake is a masterful reimagining of the 1994 cult classic, developed by Night Dive Studios. Released in 2023, the remake successfully updates the original's groundbreaking design, while staying faithful to the core of what made System Shock a genre-defining experience. The haunting atmosphere, intricate level design, and updated visuals are a testament to how a beloved classic can be brought into the present without losing its soul. Set aboard the derelict Citadel station, you step into the role of a nameless hacker who awakens to find the station overrun by murderous robots, mutants, and a rogue AI named Shodan.
Please wait where you are, and a Cortex Reaver will arrive shortly to escort you to the celebration.
The remake retains the tense, oppressive atmosphere of the original, with Shodan's chilling voice acting serving as the centerpiece of the game's narrative. Terrifying and omnipresent, Shodan is simply one of the best villains ever. She's so damn menacing, always taunting and toying with you. Gameplay has been modernized without sacrificing the original's depth. The immersive sim mechanics combining exploration, combat, and puzzle solving are intact but refined. Combat feels more fluid and responsive, with a mix of melee weapons, firearms, and gadgets, allowing you to creatively approach each encounter. Enemy AI is smart and aggressive, keeping you on your toes and constantly rewarding. The level design remains a standout, with the Citadel station feeling like a fully realized interconnected labyrinth. The updated visuals maintain the gritty, industrial aesthetic of the original, while adding modern lighting, textures, and effects. Ultimately, the System Shock remake is a triumph of modernization and preservation. It captures the essence of the original while improving upon its weaknesses, offering an experience that feels both nostalgic and fresh.
Set. You are nothing. I create. I iterate. I fuse flesh and steel into perfection.
Next up is Elix, developed by Piranha Bytes and released in 2017. Elix is an ambitious open-world RPG that blends post-apocalyptic sci-fi and medieval fantasy elements into an experience that's totally unique. Known for their work on the Gothic and Risen series, Piranha Bytes brings their trademark tough love approach to Elix, delivering a sprawling world full of freedom, danger, and opportunity. Set on a planet devastated by a meteor strike, Elix introduces you to a world fractured into factions, where advanced technology coexists with primitive weaponry. The titular substance Elix serves as a source of power, technology, and mutation, driving the game's narrative and the motivations of its warring factions. You play as Jax, a former commander of the high-tech Albs, who's been cast out and stripped of his powers, seeking revenge and answers. The world is the game's biggest strength, vast, diverse, and teeming with secrets. Gameplay-wise, Elix leans heavily on Piranha Bytes' old-school RPG sensibilities, with almost limitless freedom. You can choose your path, aligning with one of three factions: the magic-wielding berserkers, the tech-focused clerics, or the scavenger outlaws, and approach challenges in a variety of ways. Progression in Elix is slow, but rewarding. The game demands patience, as even the simplest upgrades require you to invest in multiple skills and attributes. Now, visually, Elix looks like a AA game. The world design is impressive, but character models, animations, and textures often feel dated. However, the strength of Elix lies in its bold and ambitious RPG design. Elix offers a unique world and deeply rewarding sense of freedom that's increasingly rare in modern RPGs. Next up is Trepang, or is it Trepang 2? Or maybe Trepang Squared? Well, it doesn't really matter what you call it. What you've got is a fast-paced first-person shooter that delivers an adrenaline-fueled experience, blending over-the-top combat, dark supernatural elements, and a gritty sci-fi aesthetic. Developed by Trepang Studios, of course, And released in 2023, the game feels like Max Payne and Fear had a baby, and that baby wants to blast you in the face. You're an amnesiac super soldier known only as Subject 106, who escapes from a shadowy research facility. The narrative focuses on uncovering your past while battling mercenaries and horrifying supernatural entities. But really, it's all about the gameplay. Trepang excels in his combat, which is the star of the show. Fast, fluid, and just a freaking blast. The gameplay feels like a throwback to the golden era of shooters, but not locked in the past. You have access to a suite of abilities like cloaking, superhuman strength, and slow-mo, which is the star of the show, allowing you to dodge bullets, line up headshots, or tear through enemies with style. Every encounter is a playground of bloody destruction, rewarding aggressive and creative approaches. Visually, Trepang punches well above its weight for an indie title. The environments are detailed, though mostly industrial and military locations, feeling a lot like the sterile labs and claustrophobic corridors of Fear. The lighting and particle effects are awesome, particularly during combat, where the dark environments are lit up by explosions and muzzle flashes. The sound design, with punchy weapons and a heavy industrial soundtrack, complements the relentless action. For fans of Fear, Doom, or anyone looking for a brutal and satisfying shooter, Trepang is an indie gem that delivers exactly what it promises: pure chaos. When you get a talented team of super passionate creators, it's amazing to see what they can accomplish. Kenna Bridge of Spirits, developed by Ember Lab in 2021, is one of the most visually stunning action-adventure games ever made. This debut title combines a heartfelt narrative, satisfying combat, and enchanting exploration. The game follows Kenna, a spirit guide who helps restless spirits move on to the afterlife. Her journey takes her to a lush but corrupted world, filled with ruins, spirits, and mystery. The story's simple but emotionally impactful, dealing with themes of grief and loss. The gameplay is a mix of exploration, combat, and puzzle solving. Kenna wields a staff that doubles as a melee weapon and a bow, allowing for fluid and versatile combat. Battles are tough as hell, requiring careful timing and strategic use of Kenna's abilities. And then there's the Rot, these disgustingly adorable spirit creatures that help Kenna in various ways, such as distracting enemies, enhancing attacks, or solving environmental puzzles. Their integration into both combat and exploration is seamless and adds a layer of depth to the gameplay. Boss fights are a highlight, testing your reflexes and mastery of the game's mechanics. And don't mistake the game's kid-friendly aesthetic. The combat is downright punishing at times, but super rewarding when you finally beat a particularly tough foe. Ember Lab, with its background in animation, has created a world that feels alive and vibrant, with lush forests, cascading waterfalls, and intricately designed characters. You'd be forgiven for thinking this looks like a Pixar film. Kenna Bridge of Spirits is a heartfelt and polished adventure that showcases the potential of indie studios to deliver AAA quality experiences. Moving on to Daymare 1994 Sandcastle, developed by Invader Studios in 2023. Daymare 1994 is a prequel to the 2019 survival horror game Daymare 1998. Dear lord, that's a lot of dates. The series proudly wears its Resident Evil inspirations on its blood-soaked sleeves, but Sandcastle attempts to refine the formula while delivering an atmospheric, story-driven experience with a few new bells and whistles. The story centers on Delilah Reyes, an operative for the Hades Unit. Set in a mysterious underground military research facility, Shh, don't tell anyone, but it's Area 51. Gameplay will be immediately familiar to any survival horror fans, with a combination of exploration, combat, puzzle solving, and resource management. Something new, however, is the game's standout mechanic, the Frost Grip. With it, you can freeze enemies and solve environmental puzzles. Combat feels solid and is noticeably faster and more frenetic than the first entry. Exploration is a standout, with detailed environments that never let you feel entirely comfortable. The facility is atmospheric, with dimly lit corridors, unsettling audio cues, and a sense of isolation. The presentation overall is a mixed bag. The environments are well crafted and moody, but character models and animations often feel dated, especially during cutscenes. And the characters look like this. For fans of classic survival horror, or those curious about the Daymare series, Sandcastle offers enough atmosphere and bloody gameplay to make it worth exploring. Next is Everspace 2. Developed by Rockfish Games in 2023, this sequel builds upon the roguelike roots of its predecessor, but shifts towards a more traditional, handcrafted RPG, making for a more immersive and engaging experience. At its core, Everspace 2 delivers incredibly smooth and responsive space combat. The dogfights are intense, requiring skillful maneuvering, weapon management, and strategic use of gadgets. The variety of weapons, from plasma cannons to homing missiles, keeps combat fresh, while different ship classes, ranging from nimble fighters to heavy gunships, allow for a diverse range of playstyles. Exploration is just as great. The game's universe is vast, teeming with asteroid fields, derelict ships, hidden treasures, and side missions. And with the move away from the original game's roguelike structure, every discovery feels more meaningful. You play as Adam, great name by the way, a former clone pilot searching for a new life while navigating a galaxy filled with warring factions, pirates, and mysterious forces. Customization and progression are a big focus, with upgrades to your ships with various modules, weapons, and perks, allowing for a high degree of personalization. RPG elements such as leveling up and skill trees add depth without feeling overwhelming. And get ready for lots and lots of loot, with color-coded rarity tiers reminiscent of looter shooters. Graphically, Everspace 2 is simply breathtaking. The detailed ship models, dazzling explosions, and vibrant star systems make for a visually stunning experience. The lighting effects in particular enhance the sense of immersion. Everspace 2 is an exhilarating open-world space shooter that masterfully blends fast-paced combat, deep exploration, and RPG mechanics into an experience that feels both accessible and rewarding. Last but not least is a game developed by Vanillaware, the king of beautiful AA games, consistently proving that sheer artistry can outshine raw graphical power. Unicorn Overlord is a stunning and ambitious tactical RPG that blends intricate gameplay, a sprawling narrative, and Vanillaware's signature hand-drawn art style. Released in 2024, the game strikes a balance between nostalgic genre staples and innovative mechanics, delivering an experience that feels both classic and fresh. The story takes place in the vibrant, war-torn kingdom of Fevrith, where you assume the role of a fallen noble attempting to reclaim their homeland from tyrannical forces. Unicorn Overlord weaves a tale filled with morally gray characters and impactful choices, allowing you to shape the fate of the kingdom through branching paths and alliances. The world itself is breathtaking, with Vanillaware's trademark attention to detail bringing it to life. From lush forests and snow-capped mountains, to ancient ruins and bustling towns, every location feels like a living, painted masterpiece. The gameplay combines traditional tactical RPG elements with a unique real-time twist. Battles are grid-based, but flow with a dynamic sense of movement, as units reposition and attack in real time, creating a blend of strategy and action. This hybrid system really keeps you hooked, requiring quick thinking and careful planning. Outside of combat, you'll recruit characters with distinct classes and abilities, upgrade equipment, and make decisions that influence the story and gameplay. The sheer variety of units and customization options guarantee no two playthroughs are the same. While Vanillaware's art style is absolutely the star of the show, Unicorn Overlord isn't just sizzle without steak. It's a love letter to tactical RPGs with a blend of strategic combat, compelling storytelling, and stunning visuals that make it one of the most memorable RPGs in years. Okay, there are 15 must-play AA games. So, what game did I miss? Let me know in the comments down below. If you liked the video, hit like and of course subscribe. And if you want even more hidden gems, check out my video right here. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.